Electronic energy consumption in today's data networks is growing at an increasingly unsustainable rate. Disruptive optical technologies such as coherently controlled metamaterial devices offer a potential solution to this problem. The interference of counterpropagating coherent light beams leads to the formation of a standing wave in space. And if we have an ultra-thin medium, one with a thickness that is much less than the wavelength of the light, we can choose where to place that medium within the standing wave, and this can profoundly affect how it interacts with the light. If we place it at a node of the standing wave, it will experience zero net field. It will therefore not interact with the light, and the beams will propagate undisturbed as if the medium were not there. But if we shift it to an antinode, either by physically moving the material or adjusting the mutual phase of the input beams, the medium will experience an enhanced field and may interact very strongly with the light. Under the right conditions, for example, all incident light may be absorbed, meaning the output beams will disappear. We thus have a mechanism for modulating one beam of light with another, which can operate extremely fast at femtosecond timescales and at arbitrarily low intensities, even down to the single photon level. But we can do more than simply modulate absorption. We can coherently control the manifestation of all kinds of light-matter interactions, opening up a range of new spectroscopic possibilities. And we can perform data processing functions. Consider a device with two optical input ports and two output ports, based upon exactly the kind of linear interference just described. Obviously, if both input beam intensities are increased or decreased in proportion, then both output intensities must scale accordingly. But what happens if only one of the two inputs changes? In this case, there's actually nothing to dictate a proportional change in one, other, or both of the outputs. It depends on the properties of our interaction medium, which we can structurally manipulate. Indeed, while natural materials offer limited variety at nanoscale thickness, in planar metasurfaces one may engineer the balance among reflection, transmission, and absorption for a given wavelength of light almost at will. It then also depends on the relative intensities of the input beams and on the mutual phase of the beams at the surface. As a consequence, the relationship between a given input and a given output can be nonlinear, as shown here, where output intensity gamma is plotted against input intensity beta for a fixed intensity of input alpha. And this enables a variety of optical data processing functions. And we need not be confined to operating with simple beams carrying single channels of data. We can spatially multiplex these kinds of logical operations in the metasurface plane. In this simple example, our input images are just a pair of circles. By a coherent interaction on a planar metasurface, these can be logically combined to deliver a variety of output images depending on the relative intensity and phase of the inputs at each pixel. The concept may be applied to the challenge of all optical multi-channel space division multiplexing, a means of enhancing data network capacity. Here, a control pattern is employed to coherently enhance or suppress selected elements of a spatially distributed signal pattern. This kind of all-optical control, perhaps even coherent optical devices analogous to electronic logic gates, is going to be essential if we are to keep growing the speed and capacity of our communications networks while reducing their energy consumption.